Welcome back, everybody, to another wonderful episode of the Any Given Day podcast. It is wonderful to be back. Obviously, we took a little bit of a break, but we're back right in time for college football season. A little bit late. We're right on time. It's on brand.
I told y'all we'd be back. I told y'all.
Yeah, we'll be back.
We're back. We don't die.
Hallelujah.
We have an undying factor like Deadpool.
Yeah.
A lot has changed. We had to go and, I was going to say we had to go and contemplate life after witnessing the glory that is Deadpool and Wolverine movie, but that didn't come out till after the break had started and almost till the break was over. So, but we had.
But I mean, it's
still,
okay.
Still a good movie.
Yeah, we're back.
We had to prepare for said
We're
movie.
back.
We had to prepare for it.
Yeah, I needed a good 3
it
months.
Was Ryan.
To just prepare.
It was Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman on the same screen. It
was beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
I never thought that
a
Madonna song could be set to a battle royal style fight, but it works.
No, but it worked. It was beautiful.
Glorious, even.
It was absolutely beautiful.
It was like a prayer, if you will.
Sweet Jesus. To get back into football for the first time in a while, we're going to start off with some news. Boise State has announced that Maddox Madsen is going to be their starting quarterback and beat out former 5-star USC transfer Malachi Nelson. To me, did I expect Malachi Nelson to be the starter at Boise State? Probably. In my head, when he transferred there, I expected him to be the starter. Yeah. Am I surprised he's not?
No.
Not really. Obviously, something didn't click at USC. I don't know what's going on in this kid's life. I'm not going to speculate, but something didn't work out at USC. It doesn't necessarily surprise me that something didn't work out at Boise State either. Give him a couple years. Maybe he'll figure something out. Maybe something will click. But right now, obviously, it's not.
And for all we know, it could just be as simple as that Maddox knows the system just better than Malachi does right now. So it could just be a sit and wait till he knows the system and then plug him in some point this season, or you wait and he beats out Maddox next year. We don't know. We don't know the situation entirely. And but staying on quarterbacks, have you seen some of these NIL deals that some of these quarterbacks been signing?
Yeah, it's getting crazy.
Private jets.
Private jet deals,
signing private jets. Carson Beck, our personal favorite quarterback, but the podcast's second favorite quarterback, has signed a NIL deal with Airstar Charter. He's actually the third quarterback to sign an NIL deal with him, following Jackson Dart and Quinn Ewers. So all SEC quarterbacks they're getting their private jets, their private flights. Let's go. But speaking of this podcast's favorite quarterback, Noah Fafita has also inked a private jet deal. Him and his teammate, dear Lord, please let me get this name right, Tatairoa McMillan, who
No idea. I'm glad you had to pronounce that, not me.
I thought I'd alleviate your pain a little bit this year.
Appreciate that.
They've both signed a NIL deal with Alarion Jets. Tatairoa is actually, I would say, probably one of the top returning wide receivers this year. I'd say he even has a chance to be a first-round pick going into the NFL draft this next year. But that's the conversation for later.
I will say it's about time that the GOAT, Noah Fafita, has gotten some respect put on his name.
Daggum right. I love the fact...
Arguably top 5 quarterback in the country. I'm just going to say. I'm putting that in the air. Arguably top 5 quarterback in the country.
Yes. I remember the other day we were having an argument over whether Shedeur Sanders was the top 5 quarterback. We will save that for later. Once again, that will be another episode. That will be another day. But
yes, it will.
Speaking of NIL deals, Oklahoma State has I've heard some people say it's revolutionary. I've heard a lot more people clown on it. They're putting QR codes on the back of their players' helmets, and the QR codes will lead to the general NIL fund for Oklahoma State. Part of me does think it is genius. The other part of me is like, okay, how are you going to scan it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could find a picture of the helmet online, but it's not like you're going to be able to scan it in the middle of the game or off of TV. I mean, theoretically, you could, I guess.
So what they might do, especially at the game, is because I guarantee you at some point or another during each broadcast they'll go and point it out, because that is kind of cool, right?
Right, and it's it's a new thing. It's the first time it's ever really been done. So I mean, it's at least for the first couple of broadcasts that Oklahoma State has. I feel like it'll be like, oh, look at this. Here's they have QR codes on the back of their helmet. It's cool. And then do I think it's tacky? Maybe. I don't know. I think it's genius in the sense of maybe you get some money out of it to afford some players at this point. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, wow, that was an amazing catch by number 18. He deserves. I'm going to give him $25.
Yeah, like I don't. I mean, it's not like you're going to be getting thousands of dollars out of this per person, anyways.
It's probably like a little.
You might get $8,000.
Like, I guarantee you, at some point during each game, at each home game, they'll go and they'll like zoom it in like multiple times a game on the back of a player's helmet. Or
I'm
something.
Sure.
Be like, hey, QR code to the general, pointed out all that. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's kind of cool. I mean, is it going to be revolutionary? Absolutely not.
Maybe.
I don't think it's going to be revolutionary. I don't think you're going to see like Georgia and Alabama and Texas and Oklahoma, Florida. You're not going to see these teams putting QR codes on the back of their helmets. Can it get you some money or attention or whatever, national attention? Absolutely, it could. It's not going to be game changing, but it's cool. It gets your name in the news, and that's half the battle in the modern college football, unfortunately.
Yep. Next up on our little news hike is Luke Kuechly is joining the CBS booth to call some college games this year. I do think this is an amazing addition to CBS. What a lot of people, I keep forgetting he played at Boston College. I keep forgetting his number's already retired by Boston College. And it's been a while since we've actually seen him play in the NFL, but I think that is such a great thing for CBS because dude was freaking psychic, right? It felt like there were times where he would know what was coming before some of the linemen would, or some of the he knew where he needed to go before the ball was snapped. It was and that was him in the NFL. That was him in the NFL after he's developed even more, and just he was amazing over at Boston College. I don't remember watching much Boston College around that time because
no,
stupid little me, Georgia fan, sophomore in high school, all that, just Georgia.
You're old.
Falcons, and that was it. Had my heart
You're old
many times.
Sophomore in high school and Luke Kuechly was best. You're old.
Well, no, wait. I would have been a freshman. I would have been a freshman when he got drafted. I was a sophomore when he played his first season, though.
I was. How old are you?
I am 27.
I was in 6th grade. I definitely wasn't watching Boston College football games.
Definitely not.
I can tell you that.
12. You're like Georgia.
Absolutely, I was.
But
I mean,
yeah,
this is what it is. Sorry for calling you old, but you deserve it. Anyways, I do think it's Luke Kuechly's going to do pretty good Like you said, he was almost psychic, especially in the NFL. Anyways, that's my
Mhm.
memory of him is playing for the Panthers, and he was always almost psychic, just knowing what was coming. So I think his insight will be
Mhm.
really cool to see.
You always see quarterbacks. You
Yeah.
always see the quarterbacks, right? Get the booth jobs.
Yeah,
I'll be interested to see it from a more defensive side of the ball, like oriented player. Now, granted, that's not to say you don't see
yeah,
defensive oriented players, but a guy who is as smart as Kuechly, and let's not kid ourselves, okay? I can make the argument that had he not gotten those second and third concussions, he could still be playing right now. Maybe not. I don't know, but he might have retired. Like we might have gotten him an extra year or two.
yeah. I mean, he may have retired a couple years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but he definitely would have played longer than he did because he was, arguably one of the best football player, defensive players in a very long time.
I think he made All Pro all 7 years.
Yeah, I mean, he was a generational type of guy. I mean, he was super smart. So, unfortunate that we missed out on some playing years of him, but it's going to be great that we get to see his insight in the booth this year for some college football games. So, I cannot complain.
Nope.
You know what I can complain about, though? I know everybody's still tired of hearing about Michigan, but Michigan has named Jim Harbaugh an honorary team captain for Michigan's home opener. You know what? After everything that we found out, and after the investigations are coming down, they're just digging. They just keep digging this hole.
They're just shooting double birds they're shooting double birds, swinging their piece around for the NCAA. Like, come and get me. Like, what you gonna do about it? And it's like, you're just making it worse. Like they're fixing.
It's like
they're fixing to run at you with full born with a taser.
Yeah, at this point, I wish he would have just stayed away because I was so ready to not have to talk about Michigan this year and any cheating scandals and anything like that.
He has turned it down. He's not going to actually be there. He's turned it down so he can focus on the job, on the Chargers' job, which makes sense. I mean,
it does.
Speaking of them, you see that new number 1 wide receiver they got? I
did.
I heard he rides a donkey every now and then. Anyways.
The GOAT. The GOAT.
He makes number 15 look good. Anyway.
He does, doesn't he? Some pretty, I'd say, big news. Not really. It makes sense with the way everything's going now. The College Football Playoff Committee will no longer use conference championships as tiebreakers. I get it, personally. I mean, because it doesn't matter. At this point, if you win a conference championship, you get an automatic bid. The top 5 or 4, so top 5 highest rated get an automatic bid.
Top
so
4 get the
top 4 get automatic bye.
Top 5
get a bid. So
App State wins their conference and they're undefeated or 1 loss, they'll get an automatic shot into it. So it'll be the top 11 teams plus them.
Yeah.
Unless they are number 12.
Yeah, I mean, they could be ranked 21st if they're the top rated 5th conference champion, then they get an automatic bid to the playoffs. So I get it. It doesn't matter anymore. Conference championships are useless at this point, other than an automatic bid and a bye. So still worth it to win a conference championship, but they don't matter anymore in the grand scheme of getting into the playoffs. If you lose, your season's not over.
You were working out a theory that it was feasible, right? For teams like Michigan and Ohio State and Auburn and Alabama. If the things worked out right, that they could end up playing that game 3 times within a 4-week span. 4 or 5 week span, whatever it was.
Theoretically, which, the example I used earlier as we were talking is, Michigan and Ohio State played last week of the regular season. Say Michigan wins that, whatever. They go to the Big Ten Championship. They play each other in the Big Ten Championship. Ohio State wins. Ohio State gets the bye. Mm-hmm. Michigan plays somebody else in the first round, beats them, plays Ohio State in the second round of the playoffs. Ohio State has now played 3 straight games against Michigan with nothing else in between. It's entirely possible. It could happen. There's only a couple teams it could really happen with. like you said, Alabama, Auburn, Michigan, Ohio State. I can't think of any others off the top of my head that they could theoretically happen. Trying to think of big rivalry games that play the last week of the season. There's not many. I mean, LSU and Texas A&M, or is Texas playing Texas A&M at the end of the year now?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I can't remember. LSU, I know LSU and A&M used to play at the end of the year every year, but with the new realignment and everything, I don't know how that's working out now. So, in theory, if Mississippi State ever figures something out, and if Ole Miss doesn't crap the bed this year, after having probably the third most talented roster in college football,
literally the most violent rivalry possible.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. At this point, to get back to the point, it was kind of expected. They're not going to use conference championships as tiebreakers because if you win a conference championship, you're in. You lose a conference championship, and if you're a top 11 team, you're in.
I do have one slight counterpoint to the whole, they can play each other back to back to back.
Sure.
Do you think the playoff committee would go and dock a team just enough to where they would be on the opposite side of the bracket? That way, it would have to be a national championship matchup.
Theoretically, but I feel like in a Auburn, Alabama, or Michigan, Ohio State scenario, I feel like it would be huge in drive ratings for those semifinals games to say, oh, third time's the charm, especially if it was Michigan won the last game of the regular season, Ohio State wins the Big Ten championship. Okay, grudge match, winner takes all, winner moves up. Kind of each team's won one, boom. The marketing on that would be massive. If that's how it played out. If Ohio State won, the game, and then Ohio State won the Big Ten championship, and Michigan's lost to Ohio State 2 times in a row, at that point, maybe you would look at let's fudge the numbers a little bit and not have a rematch unless it gets to a national championship. But I think the ratings bump would be huge to have that in a earlier round, just to try and drive some ratings. A quarterfinal, just to have that drive the ratings and make it a little bit more exciting. Because I have a feeling some of these quarterfinal games are going to be crappers.
Probably.
You have UTEP playing, an Alabama or a Georgia who lost in the SEC championship, or a Texas who lost in the SEC championship in the first round.
You know what I want to see?
What?
I'm going to pull out my personal bias of saying Kennesaw State and Hootie Hoo and all that.
Sure.
To go and say that, because they won't this year, unfortunately.
No shot.
Sorry about that. Apparently there's a fire somewhere. Yeah. Can you hear those sirens?
Oh, absolutely.
So,
they're quite loud, actually.
Second time's a charm, I guess. But I want to see App State at Michigan in a quarterfinal game. Or not even a quarterfinal.
That would be pretty cool.
Not a quarterfinal. My bad. In one of the opening rounds.
First round, whatever they're called. Yeah.
Because then it would be at...
round of 12 or whatever we're calling it.
At Michigan. Because the quarterfinals are going to be at the Bowls.
Yeah. I think that could be actually pretty good.
Dude, App State pulls the upset again in a playoff scenario. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Could be legendary.
You dig them right.
The memes that would come out of that game. Good Lord.
But I guess we should go ahead and get into the game previews at this point.
Yep, might as well. We start with the big one.
Fix and explain.
Might as well.
So, we're going to start with the big one, which is, by the time this is seen, will be Saturday at noon. I don't know when Bonner gets this edited. He might get it edited and posted immediately. He might wait a bit. I'm not sure. By the time this is being seen, though, it'll be some point Saturday. so the game could already be done. The game, hopefully, is not started yet when this gets out. But Florida State at Georgia Tech over in Dublin, Ireland. The line is Florida State -11. Now, this is the only game on Saturday we're going to cover. The other games are not going to be played till next Thursday, which I also want to preface by saying this. We're not going to do a review or preview. Like, we're going to do one big episode next week on, like, the hopefully release Thursday at some point, where we are reviewing these games and then previewing the other games. It's just going to be a preview special, unless something crazy happens in the news world and news-wise, but we should be good. So we've got 3 games for Thursday night, and then we've got the one for Saturday. FSU at Tech in Dublin, Ireland. The line is Florida State -11. The over-under is 55.5. If I'm watching out for some players, it's kind of on both sides, if we're being honest. Because Florida State does have some more transfers this year that should help solidify their team again. Roydell Williams, a running back, and Malik Benson, a wide receiver. Dear Lord, they're just all over the place. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah.
You have those two. Roydell Williams, obviously they're both from Alabama. Roydell Williams was kind of a shock, if I'm being honest, that he hit, because I thought he was going to be something over in Alabama, but is what it is.
Yeah.
I think he could have a really good year this year for Florida State. But you also have to look over at Haynes King for Tech. He had a really solid year last year. I think he was only a few hundred yards off from 3,000, which you haven't seen from Georgia Tech quarterback in a long time, I don't think.
It'd be since Calvin Johnson era.
Yeah, it has to be. Also has his leading rusher in Jamal Haynes back and his leading receiver in Eric Singleton Jr. So it's not like their offense is without their guys, you know?
Right.
I'll say this. I'm going to pick Florida State to win this, but I would not be shocked if Georgia Tech actually pulls the upset.
Obviously Florida State, coming off of last year and a disappointing year, considering they went undefeated and won a conference championship and got snubbed out of the playoffs. Unfortunate. And obviously, I feel like this is a revenge tour season for them. Obviously, a lot of the players from that team are now gone. So, who knows? But personally, I love Haynes King. I think he's doing wonders for Georgia Tech.
Oh, God, DJ
and
Hughes,
I think Brent Key.
State.
And I think Brent Key is doing wonders for Georgia Tech.
I'm switching mine to Georgia Tech.
No, you already put the pick in. I typed it in. I already typed in your pick.
Please.
No. No, it's not my fault that you didn't do your research and didn't realize.
I forget that TJU was a quarterback.
That's really unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. Because I have no faith in DJ Uiagalelei, my pick is Georgia Tech. I'm getting out to an early lead this year, guys.
How long will you hold it?
Probably by the next game. I'll be back. We'll be back tied after the next game.
Knowing your luck,
if I had to pick,
FSU will roll them.
Be my luck. FSU is going to be up by about 50 at half, and I'm going to go, well, great. What are the odds?
Let me actually also write things down. That way I got a reference.
Yeah, I'm typing it in on the notes.
That way we both can, yeah.
That game is on ESPN.
Yeah.
By the way, folks, in case we didn't.
Yeah, we probably should have mentioned that. That's August 24th, 2024. Gosh. Yeah.
This next one, I feel like, could be a massive game.
It could be because Thursday, August 29th, 2024, you have North Carolina at Minnesota. So last year, North Carolina won 31-13. I could see it being a bit of a closer game, especially since they're basically giving Minnesota home field advantage. -2.5.
Yeah.
The over-under for this is 50.5. But I just, if there's a player to watch out for in this game, it is the running back Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina. I would say he was the second best running back last year, behind Ollie Gordon II.
Yeah.
Had Ollie Gordon not, if Ollie Gordon is not here at the same time frame that Omarion Hampton is probably a Doak Walker Award winner, running back of the year.
Yeah.
I think I got those right.
Who's Max Johnson starting for UNC this year?
Yep.
That's right. Who's starting for Minnesota? Do we know?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I probably could have called my cousin and checked with her, but I'm scared to talk about the Colts. How you feeling today, Bonner?
Let's see. I'm feeling elite.
Right.
I gotta do some Minnesota. By the way, if you just search up Minnesota starting quarterback, you get Sam Darnold.
That checks out. That checks out.
Grad transfer Max Brosmer.
Brosmer.
He's gonna be starting.
No
idea who that is. Like you said, they're giving Minnesota home field advantage. Generally, home field advantage is about a 3-point swing. So even if you don't take in home field advantage, I mean, North Carolina is about a 0.5 point favorite, maybe a 1-point favorite if you're being greedy. I think North Carolina, especially with Max Johnson there, is going to be pretty good. Max Johnson, Omarion Hampton seems like a deadly duo, personally, to me. That's why I got UNC winning this.
I'm
not going to say big, but I do think they will win it.
Do I disappoint my cousin? Or do I go and... Do I follow my gut? Or do I disappoint my cousin?
Follow your gut.
Oh, wait. No, I phrased that wrong. My bad. Do I follow my gut and disappoint my cousin?
No.
Or do I go for the family? Well, she's only married... Like, she married into the family, so I'm going to disappoint her a little bit. I'm going North Carolina, too.
Seems like the right pick. Watch it, Minnesota is going to blow out.
Just knowing our luck, yes. We probably just secured the win for her, and she's probably like, oh my gosh, thank you.
Yeah.
Next is...
Goodness. That line is ridiculous. I'm sorry. That line is ridiculous for that next game.
So the next game is North Dakota State at Colorado. The line is -9 for Colorado. They are only favored by 9 points. The over-under is 58.5. The player to watch out for is going to be Colorado's offensive line. No, I'm not serious on that. We're going to be looking at Travis Hunter in this just to see. He's probably their best overall player, if we're being honest. Some people would be like, Shedeur. No, I don't think Shedeur Sanders is a top 5 quarterback.
I'd say Shedeur is probably top 10.
Top 10, yes.
Quarterback. He's a good quarterback. Is he an elite quarterback? Probably not. But is he a good quarterback? Absolutely. But Travis Hunter is probably the best player in the country overall. Just athleticism and talent-wise, he's probably the most talented person in the country.
I would make an an argument for Caleb Downs. But
yeah, I mean, it's between those two, I'd say. Travis Hunter and Caleb Downs are probably the two most athletic, talented people in the country that can kind of do anything. But would I love it if North Dakota State would win this game just to see the meltdown? Absolutely. Do I think North Dakota State wins this game? Probably not. I just don't. I think the talent is just too... There's too much. Colorado's got too much talent to lose to North Dakota State. Granted, anything can happen on any given day.
You are right on that.
I guess I'm picking Colorado. It seems like the
Good.
safe pick.
I've got you marked for Colorado already. The way you were leaning into it, so good.
I'm thinking Colorado.
Everyone knows me. I have found so many different reasons to hate on Colorado, especially last year. Could not stop hating on them. Right? It was cool at first. Deion's the head coach at a Power 5 school. Not anymore. It was frustrating. You have people betting on them to win the national championship, and they're like not even one of the top 14 teams in the conference. So they better win this game. I'm also picking Colorado, and they better win this game. Because if they do not, I'm going to tear into them. Because if they don't win this game, I don't want to hear a lick about Shedeur. Oh, Shedeur might be the best quarterback in the country. No, he ain't going to be the best quarterback in the country if he loses to North Dakota State. Now, I will also put the caveat that North Dakota State is a literal FCS dynasty. Right? They are. I guess someone's just lighting buildings on fire at this point. Because, like, Lord, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. Everything that go wrong always goes wrong with these things. Is what it is, though. But no, they are a literal dynasty when it comes to the championship series, and I'm still shocked to this day they have not decided to move up into the bowl series. But is what it is. I'm also picking Colorado to win, though.
Yeah. Oh, this next one, special place in my heart.
I know who you're picking in this one.
You don't know nothing.
I know who you're picking.
You don't know nothing.
I know who you're picking in this one. Because it's Coastal Carolina at Jacksonville State. For those of you who don't know, Bonner's parents, I believe, met at Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State. So a very, very close and special place to his heart, because without that university, he would not exist today.
This is true.
The line is Jacksonville State minus 3.5. The over-under is 56.5. I don't have a very specific player to watch out for in this game. I will say they both have solid teams overall. Jacksonville State looked really good. Last year was their first year in the bowl series, right?
Yep.
And they looked solid. They looked solid.
It was first team in FBS history to win a bowl game in their first year.
Exactly.
Granted, it's not really allowed to play a bowl game in your first year. But
they were good enough to where they're like, oh, we have to lift the ban so that they can get in. And it was it was a good decision. It was a solid decision. I would even say that here in a year or two, they might be a team to watch out for to be a representative for the Group of Five in the college football playoff.
I definitely think they could, especially with Rich Rod as the head coach.
Exactly.
I think they could be. I do know some players to watch for Jacksonville State. I don't know anything about Coastal Carolina at all.
Yeah.
But Zion Turner at quarterback could be pretty legit. Michael Petway. No, he's still there.
I must be getting him mixed
up. Michael Petway, wide receiver. He could be pretty good.
Speaking of wide receivers, I got one to look out for too. Brandon Spector. Transferred in from Clemson last year. And I'm mainly just saying that because he's a Calhoun grad. I graduated with his older sister. So, yeah.
We cannot forget Georgia transfer. Andrew Paul.
Yeah, that is going to be a name to watch out for. I also heard that Jacksonville State has one of the Steiner boys. Yeah,
they do.
So, Rex Steiner, full last name is going to be Rex Steiner, but that is, if I remember correctly, that is Rick Steiner's younger son, one of his younger sons. So,
I believe so.
He's a wide receiver, but still, do not mess with him. He will hit a Frankensteiner on you. And Lord knows if he knows how to spear someone like his older brother.
No kidding. Well, in case it wasn't already obvious, I'm picking Jacksonville State.
I agree with you. Jacksonville State, I do believe is the way to go with this. I love the Mullets. I love the Mullets. I love their field. Chanticleers are not going to win this one. If it was there, I'd feel a lot more comfortable about picking it. But
if Grayson McCall was still there, I'd feel a lot more comfortable picking Coastal Carolina. But with him gone, I have no idea about anybody on that team or who anybody is. There's nobody that stands out to me. Obviously, I know some Jacksonville State players because, one, College Football 25 has helped me out a ton on knowing some of these players, actually.
That has been the other problem with the break. we got wrapped in. We got warped in.
Oops.
Oh, no.
But I just don't... I don't think Coastal Carolina is the Coastal Carolina of a couple years ago in that big battle against BYU in 2020 and
legendary game.
Undefeated teams.
Just a legendary game. Got put together within less than a week because both teams' games got canceled and they were willing and ready to fight. They were ready for a game. They weren't, and neither team was willing to back down. So props to BYU and Zach. I will always give Zach Wilson props for that game because he was headstrong for it. He was one of the ones headstrong for it, from what I understand. And he was willing to go to war for it. He risked everything. They were a top 25 team at that point, I believe. And they risked it all.
Both of them were, I think. All right. Well, it was a wonderful episode
Good little toe dipper episode right here. Dip in, test the waters again.
Yeah. We'll be back next Thursday. Or the episode will be up Thursday.
Wednesday night-ish, maybe Thursday morning.
Wednesday night-ish, Thursday morning, somewhere around there. But the next episode before
the Thursday games will kind of be, we'll review those that Saturday night. We've got it figured out, people, I promise.
Yeah, we will figure it out. But oh goodness, as you can tell, it's late. And we have to work in the morning. So hope everybody has a wonderful night. Like I said earlier, glad to be back. No place I'd rather be. So, Hunter, you want to take us out?
Remember, guys and gals, on any given day, anything can happen. On any given play. We'll see y'all.